I'm getting a lot of hate on Reddit for my 10 Criterion recommendations, and I honestly don't give a Welcome back to the Physical Cut, where films live beyond the stream. My name is Carlos. The Criterion July Sale is finally here, and if you're anything like me, you probably had already a wish list for weeks. Whether you're buying your first Criterion release or looking to add a few more titles to an already overflowing shelf, like most of us have, this is one of the best times of the year to pick up some of these titles. So, in this episode, I'm sharing 10 Criterion releases that I think are absolutely worth grabbing during the sale. These are not necessarily best films in the collection, at least to me they are. And they're definitely not ranked. So they're just going to be totally random. There's simply 10 editions I love, I always recommend, and think offer something special, whether it's the film itself, the restoration, or everything packed into the release. So let's get into it. Let's start off with one of my, I would say, horror favorites, and that is The Innocents. I don't know if you guys are aware of this film, but this is a beautiful black and white film. It's directed by Jay Clayton. It's probably the only film that I've seen from Deborah Kerr. I'm not too sure on that. Don't hold that against me, but I think it is. It's an adaptation of The Turn of the Screw. It's co-written by Truman Capote. This film is only a Blu-ray. It's a 4K digital restoration. So I can only imagine how beautiful this film would look once it is upgraded to 4K. Honestly, this is probably one of the most underrated horror gems that the Criterion Collection has. I do like The Uninvited. The Uninvited has somewhat of a similar feeling to this. I do find that one a little bit more boring though. This one, the kids, you give me anything with kids that totally already creeps me out. But the kids in this film, they act like such adults. Honestly, that is probably one of the creepiest kids I've ever seen in film, especially that little boy. The fact that he can act like an adult is even more unsettling. I would probably put this next to the others. The others, obviously, it is a great film, but this one being from 1961, the picture quality and the sound in this, and again, this is just a basic Blu-ray from a 4K restoration, digital restoration. It's a monaural sound, and it already sounds pretty amazing. So imagine this with a 5.1 DTS. This would definitely freak me out even more. Honestly, if you are new to the Criterion Collection, and you have not heard of The Innocents, I would say please put that on top of your list because it is a must own. It is a great gothic film, way better than Rebecca. So that said, that is one you should definitely put in your list this summer. If not, just wait till November. If you want to try to focus on new titles this month, because I know we've had at least June was a big month for titles. I was not too eager to buy anything else, which I'm going to be talking about at the end of this episode. But I feel like this year for me, it wasn't too exciting for Criterion. I wasn't too excited for a lot of their releases, but that's just me. Moving on to the next title, number two, I got Portrait of a Lady on Fire. I know, don't hate me, but I'm going to be double dipping on this because there's a Corson edition coming out, and this is probably one of the best films Criterion has. Current films. This is from 2019, and this is also a 4K digital master. And this one does have a 5.1 surround sound DTS HD master audio, which I'm a big fan of. But this one, the colors, this is just a beautiful film. This is a painting brought to life. And I know a lot of films tend to be named that when they're basically about a painter. But this film is such a beauty. It's a lesbian love story. It's by Celine Sciamma, and I recommend this film every year, and not just for Pride Month. I don't think I reposted it this year for Pride Month, But I usually recommend this film a lot, not just because it's a rare, I would say, beautiful lesbian love story. Although heartbreaking, I mean, that final scene is just probably one of the most heartbreaking scenes I've seen in cinema in years. The film itself is just breathtaking. And I can only see this in 4K. I'm not gonna get too excited because I just went through a big letdown with a film that I thought would look great on 4K from Shout Studios, and that was a big letdown. I do trust Coruscant more than Shout. So that said, I know that the fire scenes, the night scenes in this film are gonna look amazing. I'm getting my hopes up a little bit too much, but I know Criterion is gonna put this out on 4K. They copy paste a lot of stuff. I don't wanna get too much hate on that, but they do. And if Coruscant is putting this on 4K, most likely Criterion is gonna bring out a 4K of this pretty soon, probably next year. So if you are more of a Criterion collector and you don't look to the side because you don't want to cheat on them, then that's great. Stick to the 4K that are probably going to be popping out soon. But if you can get your hands on that Coruscant, go ahead. The Blu-ray itself looks beautiful, but it is a must have. Criterion does have a lot of LGBTQ titles. I actually have two, probably three on this list, but this is definitely one that you must have on your shelf. The third film that I'm going to be recommending to you, this one a lot of us know, not just from Criterion, just in general, it is a groundbreaking. This is probably one of the films that I shooketh after I finished watching. I could not move after I finished watching this film, and it is black and white. It is from 1995, and that is La Haine. This is a 4K digital master. I'm actually waiting for the 4K on this too. I'm pretty sure either Studio Canal is going to pop this one out or Coruscant. I know this is coming, and this is another one that I need on a 4K restoration, not some digital master. This also has a DTS HD Master Audio 5.1. It does sound pretty great. It is French. I know some people don't like reading subtitles. If that's the case, you shouldn't be collecting Criterion. It's not an action film. It's really not an action film, but it's action packed. It's so unsettling. You have three kids that go through hell during the riots that were happening in France back in the 90s. And I mean, just the ending itself is so unsettling. This is honestly a film that I can only describe as a modern odyssey. It is really about an identity crisis of a nation. And you see that reflected throughout the entire film from police brutality. It just keeps you on an unnerving edge at all times. The next thing I could probably compare this film to is that little ticking clock that you hear in Dunkirk that is unsettling. That's probably how I can compare this film to, but this is such a beautiful film. This was a blind buy for me. I went into this film not knowing anything, and again, I feel like that's probably why I was so unsettled towards the end. It grabbed me by the throat, and I don't think I was able to breathe by the end of that film. And honestly, that's a film that I have to watch at least once a year. It kind of does suck because it's a big mirror to our society today. Number four, I have to say, another film that I came out of the theater shaking. This one's more recent, 2023. I can only say good things about this film, but it's because when I exited the theater, there was only one thing that I was thinking about, and it wasn't even the film itself. It was the screenplay of this film. I knew from the moment I walked out that this was gonna win Best Screenplay at the Oscars because there was nothing better out that year. There was good films out, don't get me wrong, just not great screenplays. But this one is Anatomy of a Fall. I know this is a popular film, but a lot of Criterion collectors might not have it just because they have to start with Citizen Kane, for those who like Citizen Kane, and Anatomy of a Murder. That's usually the anatomy they go for because every time they go on a YouTube channel and they give them the 10 best criterions you must own, it's always the old ones. Not a lot of people mention this one. The only reason they mention it is because the most recent one that came out that won Oscar. But I mean, Sandra Hüller is just, you can give her anything. She could play a tree and she would fucking kill it. This is all a courtroom drama. I love a courtroom drama. So if you like 12 Angry Men, you're going to love One Angry Woman because this film is a masterpiece. The way that it's shot, those films that tend to go back and forth with their storyline, I'm not a big fan of them, but in this one, it just works so well. This is a 5.1 surround DTS HD master audio. At the beginning, with that loud music, that's when you want to put this film to the test. And it does live up to it. It is a great film. I highly recommend that one. If you're into courtroom dramas, you're definitely going to love that film. Another film, this is number 5, that I honestly kind of hated at the beginning. And it's not because the film is bad. It's just this is a film that you can only see at one point in your life, and you're either going to like it or hate it. The first time I saw this film, this is from 2021. I didn't like it, but that's because I was in a state of mind that the main character was the villain. And then I think it was about 6 months later, I went again. I watched it from a different perspective. Maybe it was 6 months difference in my life, and I could not identify more with this character, and this is The Worst Person in the World by Joachim Trier. I'm not a big fan of the last one, to be honest. Probably I'm gonna have to give it another chance just the same way I had to deal with this one, but I was not a big fan of Sentimental Value. I haven't picked it up, I'm still debating on that, but this is a film, if you like the study of the human identity, mind, personality, this is a film that you definitely should own. Every actor in this film just gives such a top-notch performance, and you're gonna realize who the real villain is, and it's not the worst person, actually. To be honest, she is not the worst person if you do figure out who the true villain in that movie is. You let me know and see if we agree. The next film, and I believe this is number 6, it's a very short film. It's basically a mockumentary. It took me a minute to figure out that it was a mockumentary by Cheryl Dunye, and this is so well done that I honestly believed the Watermelon Woman was real. It took me such a long time. I honestly was invested in the story too much to even care if the Watermelon Woman was real or not. It's such a beautiful film. This is what, for me, indie cinema is. This is the blood of indie cinema, and I recommend it every year. And again, I get a lot of hate for my recommendations, as I said on Reddit, but I really don't give a fuck because a lot of people don't talk about this film. The Criterion Bros don't go around, a lot of them talk about this film. They don't even promote this film on their Instagram. I follow a few of them, and for Criterion lovers, this one is always overlooked. And this is honestly, for those who are starting out as directors, as writers, I think this is a film that you can identify with. This I compare to Tangerine. You can do a double feature of this and Tangerine, and you can learn so much from filmmaking. You can learn so much about filmmaking, especially if you're a black filmmaker, queer filmmaker. This is a film that you should definitely sit down, study. I don't only love the film because it really took me by surprise not being an actual documentary, but it's also the fact that you get that 1990s video store vibe so well, and it's just a gem. To me, this is a masterpiece. This is only a 3.0 surround sound, 3.0 surround DTS HD master audio. It sounds good. It doesn't need it. This could be mono and it's still going to sound great. It is a 2K digital restoration. I do wish that somebody else would take this film. I would want to see that one in a bigger and a nicer set, just because, again, it's such a hidden gem for me that I wish this had a nice booklet attached to it. Number 7, for those keeping track, because I'm definitely not. This film was at the bottom of my list when I first saw it. It's a David Cronenberg film. and I do love David Cronenberg. When I first saw this film, I hated it. I don't know why. I just know that I saw it. To me, this was almost 3-hour film when I first saw it, and then I found out just recently when I was watching it that it was only 96 minutes. And this is A History of Violence by David Cronenberg. After seeing this film again, I this moved up so far up my list, and I still have to say Videodrome has to be my number 1, mostly because that's the first David that I saw, but this might be a tie with it. I still haven't seen Eastern Promises. A lot of people tell me that if I like this one, I'm definitely gonna love Eastern Promises. Haven't bought it because I know a 4K is definitely on the horizon, so I'm holding off on that. This one is a 4K digital restoration. I do have the 4K in my hand, and it's a 5.1 surround DTS HD master audio. It sounds great, actually. It definitely sounds great. It looks great. This film looks amazing. The acting in this film, Maria Bello is such a good actress in this film. My God, what goes on in the stairs alone. I mean, this film is so physically draining. It doesn't have so much body horror like a lot of David Cronenberg films do, but physically it's so draining, if that makes any sense. Number 8, and this is probably the best threesome film I've ever seen. A threesome doesn't happen, but it is so suggested that one should. This is from 1962, way ahead of its time. If you like Designed for Living, which that's another threesome waiting to happen. If you like that film, you're definitely gonna love this one. This one is a French film, Jules and Jim, or Jules and Jim for those who speak English. It's 106 minutes. Actually, this film is a little longer than it should be. That's the only problem that I have with this film. It's a little longer than it should be, just by like maybe 10 minutes. But this is a 2K digital film transfer, French mono sound. It sounds great, actually. It doesn't really bother me. The sound doesn't really bother me. But again, it's not a film that needs to be upgraded when it comes to the sound. It's a beautiful film. It's funny as hell. It's very uncomfortable, especially for those who have marital problems. It's a very entertaining film. The only reason I pull that one out every now and then is because I know it doesn't get a lot of talk. The box set itself is worth having in your collection. This comes in a beautiful digipack or digibox. I don't know the difference, but that is a beautiful film to have in your collection. It's probably one of my favorite French films besides some of the Eric Romer, but this is definitely a must-have in your collection. It's a beautiful box, and it's good to pick up now too, because again, for this $20, it's more than worth it. The second to last film that I highly recommend, and this is mostly for horror lovers as well, even though it's not a horror film, some might say, is Boris Karloff in 1968 Targets. This film is so surprising, honestly. This could have been either the most boring film or the best film ever, and it was the latter. This film is so gripping. It is mostly about how we glorify violence, and it just goes from 0 to 100 so fast. And there's some scenes that are so unsettling, mostly because of the society that we live today with gun violence. It is such a mirror to this day about glorifying violence. Boris Karloff is probably the least entertaining thing in this film up to the very end. It is a 4K digital master. It does have also a mono sound, but it sounds pretty great. The shots and everything, it sounds pretty great. The last film I want to recommend for those who are starting out their Criterion collection is from Master, Wind Vendors. No, I'm not talking about Paris, Texas. You should already have that one in your collection. This one is from 2023. It is Perfect Days. This film, you have to really get into it. If you don't know Wind Vendors and you haven't seen Paris, Texas, which the colors in that film alone, I could recommend that film for the rest of my life. But we're not talking about Paris, Texas, because again, everyone should have that one. But in Perfect Days, you see the same beautiful colors. You see live in every color in Wind Vendor films. And this one is such a simple, yet such a deep and moving film that you don't even know what is entertaining you. At least for me, when I was watching this film, the simplicity, I think that's what was really drawing me in. And then what the character was exposed to, that made me feel for the character in different ways. Is a person that I don't think he shows to be in those situations, but nonetheless, those situations happened. He's just a simple cleaner. He cleans public bathrooms and he lives a routine life. And then his niece comes to visit him. Slowly, things start changing in his routine. And I would say this is a film for people who just want to sit down and contemplate on life in a different way, that you don't necessarily have to be so active for life to happen to you. Sometimes you can just be having your routine and life just happens. This is such a hard film to explain to people. The best thing that I can always say to people when I recommend this film is just sit down, open up your mind to a different type of film. And this film, you're going to identify with this film no matter what kind of life you live. You can live a busy life, and this film is definitely going to resonate with you. This is a beautiful 4K digital master. It's approved by Vin. Is it Vin Vendors? I call them Vin Vendors because everybody does. But it does have a 5.1 surround DTS HD master audio. Honestly, you're able to appreciate the surround sound of just the city. I think that's probably where this sound works the best. When you can just sit down, take in the noise from the city, appreciate it, and take in the directing from Vin Vendors and the beautiful cinematography. His films are usually just, when it comes to cinematography, top notch. I don't think we have another director who's creating films right now with such beautiful cinematography. I mean, you can say Chloe Zhao, sure. Now, I wasn't going to talk about my pickups because I don't know yet if I'm going to be buying anything else, but I think I'm going to wrap it up with these four titles that I got during this sale this week because I do have a big trip coming up, and I don't know what else to buy, to be honest, from Criterion. Everything I wanted from Criterion, I already got. The ones that I was mostly excited for, I have in my hand right now. And I don't really know if I want something, if I need something right now. What I do need is that Kubrick set. So, being poor and broke, I grabbed four titles. Obviously, two are from my idol, my zaddy, John Waters. I haven't seen these yet. I just picked them up 2 days ago and I haven't been able to see them yet. This one's 1977, Desperate Living. It is a 4K digital restoration. When it comes to audio, it's just a mono audio. We'll see how that sounds. I hope it sounds good because sometimes some of his movies tend to sound a little low, but I am hoping this one has a beautiful picture at least. The other one, obviously, Hairspray, one of my favorite John Water films, right after Pecker. This one's from 1988, 4K restoration. This one's another one that I'm hoping that another UK label grabs and does a beautiful set, or anybody in Australia, if you're listening, please make sure you grab this title, make a beautiful set. I'm actually waiting for a Criterion set of all these films, but I need something like Cecile Be Demented. I need something for Hairspray and Pecker. I need Pecker. I need Pecker on 4K ASAP. Please make it happen, Criterion or Umbrella, whoever did Cecile Be Demented. Please make it happen. This one is a 2.0 surround DTS HD master audio, which I'm pretty sure is going to sound great. It doesn't need that much sound anyway. Mono would have been great, but this is such a great film. So if you're a John Water fan, this is your month. Honestly, this is your sale. The other one that I got was Ernst Lubitsch, Trouble in Paradise. I only have seen one more Ernst, and I loved it. It's one of my up there comedies from 30s. This one's also from 1932. This is a 4K digital restoration, also mono, but if it sounds anything like his other films, it should be I would say okay. They don't need a 2.0 or anything like that. I think mono will be okay. But this one, I don't know much about. I just got this as a recommendation. It's Love at First Sight Swindle when High Society's thief Gaston Montesquieu and pickpocket Lily Vautier cross paths amid the canals of Venice while attempting to con each other. Great. I love those stupid ass comedies. So this one is definitely one that I have to check out ASAP. I do hope it looks good. It's black and white, so it should look good on 4K. And the last one, this one was a blind buy. This one is high art. This one is only Blu-ray, but it does have a 4K digital restoration, 5.1 surround sound. This one is, I believe this one, yeah. So this one is also a lesbian love story. Ali Sheedy stars in writer-director Lisa Cholodenko's debut. So this one says it's a wry and incisive look at the politics of the New York art scene wrapped in the guise of an emotionally spiky queer romance. Great. Technically, I'm recording this on the last day or penultimate last day of Pride Month. So I guess I got three titles that are no, not three, because anything John Waters is gay as fuck. So I got about five queer titles here. So if you're listening to this in the last days of Pride Month, but you should support queer art any time of the year. Don't be a hypocrite like most corporations are. And also, I did get the little truck. It wasn't on 50%. I was hoping it was. They should have had this 50%. But it's so cute. It's heavy as a rock, but it's cute. So that is going right in front of my Bergman box set. But please let me know what you are picking up during the Criterion sale in July. Give me more recommendations. Tell me if I should pick up something else before the month ends. Again, I'm trying not to pick up too many titles. I still have Criterions from the March flash sale that I haven't seen. I still have shit that I bought in Orlando in January that I haven't seen. And I have stuff from November that I haven't seen. So a lot of that is still sealed up. I'm trying to really hold myself back. I'm running out of space in my I have no space. Update that. I have no space in my Criterion shelf or in my boutique label side of the shelves. So again, I'm trying to really cut back on these sales, but I'm going to be keeping an eye out for any other recommendations that come from you guys. So please let me know. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at the Physical Cut Pod or Carlos Ruben 2.0. That is KRLOZRUBEN 2.0. This has been the Physical Cut, where films live beyond the stream, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you for listening.